So just take a moment to get yourself into whatever position you'd like to be in. And as you're doing that, notice what's happening in your system. This is an inquiry practice of looking at blame, blaming others and others blaming us. There's a lot of different things that come to mind. And I'm very sure this is something everybody can relate to. I certainly can. And so it might be one of those more intense set of words for people. There will probably be things, at least in our past, that come up around that. So just to notice as you're getting settled, what are the memories or words or examples that are coming to your mind? I'm blaming myself, someone else is to blame. There's so many different ways that blaming works. When we're talking about or looking into our parents or people who were taking care of us or in charge of taking care of us and maybe weren't doing a very good job. They were disconnected or abusive or mentally ill or not there or any of that. And sometimes we'll hear comments about, well, she's not to blame. Look at her upbringing, or all kinds of different thoughts about that. So as we're settling in, let's put the words kind of up in front of us for a moment. I'm to blame, I'm not to blame, he's to blame. And just for a moment before we even really tune into the body so much, let's just look at the words and see what's coming up for us around that. Notice the energy in your body too. But look to see what are the thoughts that are associated with those words. What are the memories? What's your personal experience with that? And there's contraction usually when we are looking at that. There could very well be anger, shame, all kinds of experiences. And those are felt in the body. So let's tune in out of the body. Let the words go to the background for a minute and the memories, our personal relationship with those experiences. And take a moment to really come into awareness in your body. If you're sitting up or lying down, if you're feeling like you're settled or if you're feeling kind of edgy or agitated. And one of the things we practice is being aware of what's happening in our body through a range of circumstances. So we all had whatever we were feeling coming in, and then whatever our response is to those words around blame. And now we're letting the words settle a bit and really notice, what does it feel like in your body right now? And is this something that you're comfortable being present with? Are you noticing an urge to escape? Are you tightening up and then noticing that, and then maybe it could soften a bit, or you might move your body around a bit? All of those are within the range of normal, of course. They're understandable. And one of the foundations of inquiry and healing is that we allow ourselves to experience, we notice ourselves as we're experiencing things. And we also notice what it is that's not ever harmed or moved by our experience. That sense of the timeless, of our being, of steadiness that might be there underneath all of the movement of mind and body. So notice that as well. Notice who it is that's observing your body, your breath, and your response to those words. Who's in here? Notice that as well. And notice your breath. Just as you're really tuning into your breath, we notice it's very physical. There's definitely an energetic component to breath. When the body's tight, there's not enough room for the breath to have any sense of ease. So as you're breathing in, notice if there's enough room for your lungs to fill with air, your rib cage, and notice as you're breathing out if it's okay to let the out breath happen to soften your belly. And for a moment, let's just focus on that feeling of the body breathing. It's usually very helpful to anchor into the continuity of the breath. So try to remain aware as you finish your exhalation and you're moving into the inhale, and then you're finishing your inhalation and moving into the exhale. Try to just focus on that for at least 4 or 5 breaths, but maybe even a bit longer. Let your thoughts be in your background for a moment. And as we're looking at the issues around blame and what comes up for us around blame, see if you can also remain aware of your body and of your breath. So use that as a stabilizing kind of an anchor. So if you keep your breath moving smoothly, for instance, if you try to not lose awareness of your breath, it helps to remind us that we're here in this moment in time, that we're not actually back in some other moment. It helps to stabilize our attention and our mind. And then bring back what it is that's coming up for you around blame. Have a look at the words. You can always do tapping, just those 2 fingers on the forehead. If something is quite intense or we feel like we're being kind of sucked back into something, then tap on it for a moment. Just bring up the picture, hear the words, tap on the forehead, and bring your attention away from the images or words and just into this sensation, the sound of the tapping, the feel of it, until that's primarily what you're focusing on. And then come back to looking at the words. Take a few breaths, bring the words or images back. Quite often there's an other involved. It's their fault. And that might very well be true. They might be responsible for it. And we could also notice, what does it feel like? How does it manifest when somebody else becomes the other? Someone to blame, someone we're angry at, someone we have to defend ourselves against, someone who let us down, didn't do what they were supposed to do. Notice what comes up around that, and notice the energy in your body around that. They weren't being such a jerk. I wouldn't have this, or I would have this. We're always coming back to the energy of something. What does it actually feel like in our body? Are we able to stay present with it? And if we're not, we could notice all around the edges of the sensation. So if we have a feeling of pressure in the chest, for instance, we could notice if there's an image of it, if it has a temperature, if it's moving or still. We could notice it on that kind of a level, so that that helps us to remain in the perspective of a witness. And we could also notice that it's not overtaking the world, that it's a specific location somewhere in the body, or maybe it's the whole body, but it's not taking over the whole room. We just notice with energy or sensation. Might be familiar, but it's not constant. It's not always here. Not like that sense of who we are when we look out of our own eyes and we have a sense of ourselves at age 2 and 27 and 80, whatever our ages are. It's not like that. Energies and sensations rise in response to something and then they go away, they change. So let's keep that in mind as you're noticing sensation. Notice the clear space around the sensation. Does it have a kind of a sharp ending place, or does it just get less and less until you can't really feel it? If it's some kind of tightness, can you still get in enough air to breathe? Even if there's a tightness in the chest or the throat, physically, we can actually breathe. So it's good to notice that. And from this noticing of the body and the breath and the energy in our body, we're interested in knowing more about this. There's something here that's causing us to stress. And what could we know about that? And then we just pay attention. What are the words? What are the memories? What are the images? He's to blame, or she's to blame, or they're to blame. We're not really looking for a truth that could be held up in court. We're looking to see how we feel and what comes forward when we consider something like this. Notice the words. Stay with your experience as much as you can. Stay with your breath, with your body. Or maybe you've turned it against yourself. I'm to blame. If I'd been able to see it earlier, I should have gotten out of there. I'm to blame for this mess that I'm in. Keep using your tools, the tapping, other tools that we have of maintaining this perspective. We're witnessing what's coming up as well as experiencing it. It's a very intimate process. We might also be working with relaxing our body and breathing deeply. So it's really good to look at what comes up around this. And really, there's some objective truth in most of this. You know, if somebody had been more functional, if they hadn't been so mean, we wouldn't have grown up scared and we would have had a better life. That's true. We can have deep regret over things. You can really see the effect that it has on us, even to this day. And then how do we feel about that? What is here as well as the anger or the blame, the hardening around it? What are the other feelings that are here? Can you allow that to have some space too? And stay in touch with your body, with your breath. And then let all of that settle for a moment. Let the thoughts move to the background. If you feel like there's something going on in your body that you need to be supporting yourself around, you could be doing that. You could be putting a hand on the heart or in some other way. Just acknowledging that something might be here that's quite intense. A question like that can stir up a lot. Notice if you could allow that to move to the background now. Take a few deeper breaths and let go of the inquiry for a moment. Might be helpful to review the thoughts that have come and gone in the last 15 minutes. Sometimes it's a common theme, sometimes it surprises us a bit. And then let's go right into the emotion of it again. Whatever it is that's under the accusation or the anger, it might be sadness or grief, sense of betrayal. What does it feel like right now? And notice if there's a willingness to be present with that. And stay in touch with your body and breath, and also with that sense of stability, the sense of your being, of what it is that's never harmed. It's always intact, no matter what's gone on in our lives. What is your felt sense of that? Even if it's just a glimmer. And this kind of experience of being harmed by people or betraying ourselves can be very intense and can really use a longer period of reflection and inquiry. Really wonderful to come back to these things again and again and again. And as we do, things start to clear. The Velcro gets released between the energy in our body and the thoughts in the mind. So let go of the whole of the inquiry now, if you can. There's going to be a residue. But now it's time to come out of the practice. You could open your eyes and look around. You could take some deeper breaths, move your body, shake it off maybe. Let your energy shift away from the inquiry. But stay present with yourself. Stay really present with what's happening in your body and your breath. And notice if you can bring some kindness, if there's space for that. Sometimes we're really absorbed in something and there's not a lot of room for anything else. And we have to really keep bringing ourselves back to the body and the breath. And other times it moves through quite quickly, and then we're able to kind of enjoy again, enjoy the body, what's going on. And whatever the experience is, notice if you could be kind with yourself. There's no perfect way we have to do this. And let the tension ease and go out of your body as you breathe out. A couple of deeper breaths again. And if you haven't already, open your eyes.